This is credit. And credit means nothing. It just says you have the opportunity to create debt.
If you want to be financially secure, you have to make sure that you have a diverse portfolio of several investment options. That's going to mean a vast variety of different things, whether it's investing in the stock market or investing in real estate or just saving or whatever the case may be. But just make sure that you don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to say, because you need to make sure that you have a vast variety of different ways to make money.
Again, let me go to this here. These are the 5 M's that Grunch, Gross Universal Cash Flows, which I read in 1983, talked about how they control the world. Grunch, Gross Universal Cash Flows. So one is the mind, which is our education system, money, financials, military, which I went to military school, media, fake news, and medicine, vaccines. So anyway, I'm pretty good on the money side. So why is the dollar dying? Well, because the dollar is fake. It doesn't exist. It's only a figment of your imagination. So you think it's a dollar bill or whatever it is. It's not. That's why there's no financial education in school. You know, what does school teach you about money except to work for it and to save it and pay taxes? And that's the key. You see, money doesn't exist because all it really is, and I won't show you my number, but this here is a credit card. And I was warned not to put my credit card on screen because somebody will zoom in on it. So anyway, there's no money in here. This is credit. And credit means nothing. It just says you have the opportunity to create debt. So there's credit and there's debt, and the next magical word is tax. So if you understand that it's credit, debt, and taxes, that's what makes up money. So it's called fiat currency, and the reason I call it fake money is fiat currency is government money. It's made and printed by your government. So it could be America, it could be Japan, it could be Europe, it could be Mexico. It's just made up. It doesn't exist. It's an IOU. The problem is not in the banking system, it's in the shadow banking system. The shadow banking system is the real system. And in September 2019, or almost 6 months ago, whatever, the shadow banking system went broke. So the Fed now had to bail out the shadow banks. So the reason I said the dollar is dying is because in 2008, the Fed had to print 4.5 trillion to save the 2008 crisis because there's no money there. It's all IOUs. It's like your brother-in-law owing you money, but you promised it to your buddy down the street, and your buddy down the street wants the money, so you call your brother-in-law, he ain't got any money. That's what's happening. It's like what I wrote in Twitter. I said, it's like you flush the toilet and it doesn't go down, it backs up, honey. So this whole system of money, whatever that stuff is now backing up in the Fed system. So they have to print more and more of it. So in 2008, they printed approximately 4.5 trillion. Then in 2020, the estimates are, so that was to save the rich. 4.5 trillion in 2008 was only for, I made so much money in 2008, it was incredible, thank you. But I know the system. So then in 2020, the estimate is going to be 6 to 8 to 10 trillion, twice as much money. That's why the dollar is dying, because the purchasing power of the dollar goes down the more they print. So it's the way government and bank and the financial system, or grunge, as we call it, Bucky called them, they keep messing with us via our money. So I hate to tell you that. So that's why I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Is lesson number 1, which most people miss. The rich don't work for money. So savers are losers. My poor dad knew nothing about money, but he was telling me to work hard for it. But my rich dad said, the harder you work for money, the more tax you're going to pay. See, that's the system. Money can only come into existence as long as you and I pay tax. So fake money is money you pay taxes with. You cannot pay your taxes with a duck or a chicken or Bitcoin or gold. You have to pay your taxes with fake money. That's the system. So that's why lesson number 1 in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is don't work for money. Instead, what I do is I use my own assets. I make up my own money. The government or Wall Street sells you fake assets. They're called 401ks. They're called stocks, bonds, mutual funds. They just make them up. So if they can do that, why can't you? So, many of you have read one of my best assets. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I wrote that book 25 years ago, and I still make about $1 million a year from it without work. The money comes in. I don't save that money. I just buy gold and silver. See, real money is gold and silver because it's God's money. Bitcoin is people's money. It's open source system. And the reason I recommend Bitcoin is because it gets me out of grunge. So I don't have to go through the Fed, and Bitcoin just bypasses all those guys. And every time the Fed prints more money, which they're doing today, gold and silver generally get more valuable because there's more dollars and there's less gold and silver. So there's God's money, gold and silver, and people's money, Bitcoin, Ethereum, blockchain, and all that. They bypass the system. So I'm not saying one is right or wrong. You can save the dollar, you can save pesos, you can save euro. It's up to you. But as long as the government is going to print possibly $6 to $8 trillion, maybe 10 trillion in the next 10 years, why would you save it? You can see what they're doing today. You can see what grunge is doing. And I think ultimately what's going to happen is they're now going to pay people more to stay at home. So this was MMT, modern monetary theory. It's also called socialism, or UBI, universal basic income, socialism. That's what it's called. I'm not against it. To pay people to stay at home is going to destroy the dollar. So that's what's going on. So that's why I save gold and silver, and I recommend Bitcoin or Ethereum or an open source system just because it's outside the system. So I'm not, I have a lot of real estate, I have oil and gas, I have this and this, but my number one asset comes out of my brain. It's called intellectual property. My book is intellectual property. My board game is intellectual property. That power sits in your head too. Just remember that. And I've been saying for years, the best teachers are on YouTube, not in our schools. And because you have no financial education, the most educated people, like the Fed, the Fed is 900 PhDs, who have no idea what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing because they work for grunge, but they're destroying our money. So this is new. The future is very bright if you have this power and this power.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, let us know what you thought about it down in the comment section down below.